Some people have asked me, how do you distinguish between that subtle spiritual voice guidance that you get and your own mind talking away? And even if that subtle voice talks to you, how do you distinguish? How do you know what it says? How do you know what its warnings mean and its guidance mean? How do you recognize it? Now, this is a very important question because things can happen that really surprise you. A lady came in today actually saying that she had 3 or 4 little subtle prompts telling her to take another direction, and when she was driving her car and she was on her way somewhere, and then it prompted her to wash her car and to take another route and to do something else, but she ignored them all, and then she landed in an accident, which is really fascinating. So the message to her is really listen to that subtle voice and don't override it with your rationalizations or your conditioned idea of always having to do the fastest action in the closest in the shortest amount of time. Even if it's completely irrational, listen to that little voice. And so the first thing that happens to us is we get these little prompts, this very soft little prompts to listen to. Otherwise, we suffer the consequences. Then how do we know what it means? So sometimes we get a prompt in a certain direction, and then we get a thought that could relate to our fear or our desire. And this is the next level of this distinction that we need to make, is between our fears, our desires, and the subtle voice that prompts us. The fear will always want us to do something that we've always done to secure our safety. Now, that's not always a bad thing, because sometimes we have learned through consequences to have certain defense mechanisms that prevents history from reoccurring, especially when it comes to practical life. The big difference is, though, that when you respond to something that is driving you because of a fear, the result is never so satisfying. You kind of realize that it's wrong. The same happens with desire. It doesn't have the consequence or the outcome that you really want. It always leads to disappointment. So when you are totally in sync, then things happen. When you respond to the true guidance from your soul, things transpire eventually into the results that is worthwhile, and you truly value it. It sort of brings about this illumination, this internal sense of satisfaction that resonates true with your deepest truth. The secret is really to practice listening to the difference between what is your fear, what is your desire, and what is your truth. The truth inside you prompts you to do the thing that is not always very comfortable to do. It's the hard thing to do. It's the thing that you don't really want to do. The thing that you are scared to do, really. And that your mind try to discourage you from doing. And then you know that when it's a challenge, it's probably your spirit guiding you, because the fear response as well as the desire response is something that you eagerly do, that you think, yes, that's what I'm used to doing and that's what I want to do. And I think that is the difference. So try to ask yourself, what part of me is talking now? Is it my spirit? Is it guiding me? Or is it my fear that comes from my self-preservation side? Or is it my desire that comes from my hopes and wishes? And then you will start to learn through experience and practice what the truth is for you. Blessings.